how are you? How are you doing today?
I am fantastic. I'm just sitting in my closet, soaking up the energy. I feel so much love coming from the internet. And my phone's been blowing up. People are just so excited. And it's so awesome to finally be able to talk about my run on Mass Singer.
I love the setup that you have. You said that's your closet, but you have the little, bowl in the back. It's amazing.
Beyonce, she's with me.
So I'd love to just go back to, kind of the beginning of this experience for you. What was it like getting the call and hearing that, the offer to be on The Masked Singer?
It was so cool. I mean, I don't ever expect to get calls like that. I'm such a self-made artist that usually my opportunities come from things that I do myself and or people license my music to do TV shows and film. But to be on this show was such a like an awesome experience. And the fact that I even got the call to begin with. I mean, I have friends, Tori Kelly, Wayne Brady, JoJo Siwa, Candy Burris, like so many of my really talented friends have been on the show. So to be on a show with the likes of those people was a huge honor.
And you definitely brought it with all of your performances. I watched them all. I loved them. Did you have a favorite from your time on the show?
Absolutely. Straight Up was my favorite performance. I would say a tie between Straight Up and Drops of Jupiter. Drops of Jupiter was a song that my first ever huge crush um, played for me on a mixed CD, and it's always held a really special place in my heart. So to be able to sing that on national television was a really special moment for me.
Oh, I love that song. When I heard that you were singing it, it was amazing, amazing. I had the opportunity to speak with Bobby Burke, who was the caterpillar on the show,
Yeah.
and he was telling me all about how he just was so shocked to hear that you had to sing live. Like he had no idea going into the experience. So was that a shock for you as well?
I mean, I'm a Broadway kid, so it was a shock, but not in a sense like, how am I going to do this? It was more like, I can't believe they can find a lot of artists and singers who can dance and sing in these really, really difficult to move in costumes. Because they're very, I mean, my costume is really, really heavy. I would say around 80 pounds of just like, like bulk and muscle and I don't know, foam pieces and stuff. So yeah, I was very, very, very shocked that everyone that's been on the show has sang live. I didn't know that, honestly.
So did it create a challenge? I mean, were you worried at all going into any of these that, you weren't going to be able to do it? Was there ever a time where you felt really, really challenged?
I think I was worried every single week, and I kept pushing myself more and more and more to just try to see if I could do a split in my costume, and then try to see if I could fall off of a 12-foot scaffolding. I just wanted to take on a challenge. I think that in 2020, the pandemic really changed a lot of things in my perspective as an artist and made me realize all of the opportunities that had been given to me that I'd taken for granted. And I just vowed to myself that I wouldn't do that. So now when I get calls, if it's humanly possible to do it and I have any interest in doing it, I'm just going to say yes, because life's too short to have shoulda, coulda, wouldas at the end. So yeah, it was a huge challenge and very, very scary with the costumes on, but I'm really, really proud of what I did on the show.
I love what you said, and yeah, just taking risks, like just saying yes because why not? I mean, definitely this is a big risk and it's a crazy task to take on. And I was even saying that I felt like, I can see why people wouldn't dance in the costumes when I heard that it was live. But then seeing you perform and you just brought all of the dance moves, which makes sense. So what was that like in and going into it and preparing to do dances while singing up there?
It was very scary, and I knew that my vocals were going to be sacrificed because of the fact that I was dancing. But I'm a strategic person, and I just thought, my chess move should be like, you're going to go and be the person that brings awesome performances, and you're going to dance and do the same choreography your dancers are doing while also singing. And you only get one take, so just bring it. And that adrenaline rush that I got was something I haven't felt in a very, very long time, because most of my performance opportunities are very controlled. They're on my own tours, or I perform, on Broadway with a cast of people where everything is secure and the same every day. And it's also not documented. So if you have a bad show, only those, couple thousand people that were there that night can live to tell the tale. But on Masked Singer, if you mess up, I mean, the world's going to see it. So it was a cool challenge, but I enjoyed the adrenaline rush that I got from it.
So I know keeping your identity was a huge part of the show, and it's a very well kept secret that you have to do. So was there ever a time where you were afraid that you almost, spoke it to someone, or that you were backstage and you were hiding? Was there ever close calls for you?
There weren't any close calls in that regard, but I'm not a very good liar to people, especially when it's something I'm excited about. And I had to fly a lot during the pandemic. And every time I went to the airport, people were like, "Are you the bull? Are you the bull?" I would be checking into my hotel and people would ask me that. So it was really, really difficult. And I just had to be like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." But I hear he's really great. So, whatever. But it was really, really cool to do that, because even my friends who know me and feel like it is me, they're like, he's just so busy that I don't know how he would have time to like have been there. He was out of the country left and right. Like, how was he ever in town long enough to do this? And so it was hard to not tell people, but I love surprises. So it was really, I don't know, just a fun little experience and banter between my friends, especially from my hometown in Texas.
Were you able to come up with any, like cover stories, like someone's asking you and you're like, no, I was over here doing this? Like, did you have any go-to stories?
No, I didn't have any like specific like alibis that I tried to use, but I just basically just kind of just pretended that I was dumb and didn't know what they were talking about. I didn't even tell most of my family members. I only told my mom because she ended up flying into town and coming to set with me, but otherwise I wouldn't have told her either.
I It was amazing, and I know that you are close with Nicole, who's a judge on the show. And you kind of talked about that after your unmasking, about knowing who, if it was you. But was it hard, keeping that secret, knowing that they were there all the time?
I wanted to text Nicole when I got the call to say, you might be seeing me soon. But I was like, I just want to see how long it'll take her to figure out that it's me. And it was once I could see that she knew that it was me once I started singing. And it was just really funny. That was one of my favorite parts about doing it, was I felt so much more comfortable because I had a friend on the judging panel.
When she was doing her commentary or speaking after your performances, I mean, you said you knew right from the beginning, but were there ever times where you were like, yes, of course, like she was hinting at the fact that she knew?
Oh yeah, there was one time they didn't show it, but she said, you look at right at home on that stage, and there's no place like home." And anyone who knows me, or anybody who's a big fan of me, knows that my favorite story of all time is The Wizard of Oz. So that was one. And then she said, "I felt it in my nails, hair, hips, and heels" on last night's episode. So she would always throw like little hints in there. But I'm so glad that she didn't say it at first, because I just wanted this opportunity for me was so great to be able to introduce myself and my brand to a lot of people who have never heard of me before. So I'm glad that I didn't use the take it off buzzer, or I didn't get the take it off buzzer used on me, and that I got to make it to the finale.
You spoke a little bit, about how this performance has impacted you and what you're going to take away. But I mean, when it comes to just like stage presence and being masked while singing, like, did you get anything that you would take away from that? Like any courage that you felt without people knowing who you were, that you can now incorporate in your new performances going forward?
I don't know if there's anything about me being on stage in particular, but I will say that I've never been a very confident person in my voice. It's always been raspy, even since I was a young kid. I've always had a raspy singing voice. And I think that I have learned to embrace that more and not run away from it, and just use that to my advantage. And I think being the bull has helped me just gain a whole new confidence about my singing, because at the end of the day, it isn't a dancing competition. And if I didn't sing well, I would not have progressed as far as I did. So I'm happy about that. And I think that's the thing I'm going to take with me in the next chapters of Todrickness.
So going back to just, being there, being on the set, being behind, a backstage, were you able to see or connect with anyone, the other performers, even though they're fully masked and, the identity is a secret? Were you able to say hello or any interactions?
I slipped in a little. I am a huge fan of you to the skunk. I did not know that Natasha Bedingfield was the pepper, but I was obsessed with her. So I ran up to all the people that I was like obsessed with. And I also had like a little crush on the what is it, the hamster. I thought the hamster was so cute. And so I would always go over and play with the hamster whenever he was there.
So you guys are just backstage, like in costumes,
Just
being
right
able to say hi?
for elimination, we would say hi and film
Yeah.
little quick things. But other than that, there was no interaction.
So the grand reveal of the Queen of Hearts, Jewel, was this a surprise to you, or did you have a hunch? Were you trying to guess who the other performers were?
I had a hunch, and I recognized her voice because I grew up watching The Wizard of Oz in concert, and she was Dorothy. So I was like, oh, I think I know who that is. But I wasn't sure until much later when I started seeing all the comments when the show came on and people saying, I think it's Joel. And I was like, okay, I think I knew who that was.
So what was it like knowing that, at some point you kind of shared the stage with her and you were up there and, you both made it to the finale? How did that feel?
It felt great. I was just so tired by that point and so nervous that I couldn't really think straight. But I had a great time being there with her, and she was so sweet and was trying to show me as much love as she could while stuck in the costume. So yeah, it was awesome to be able to share a stage with any of them. What was amazing, the fact that I was in the same competition as Catherine McPhee and David Foster and Bobby Burke, who's a friend of mine as well, and Tony Braxton and Faith Evans. I mean, it's just Natasha Bedingfield, like the list goes on. There were such great vocalists on the show this season. So it was just incredible to be in such great company, to be honest.
So how is celebrating? How was it afterwards, right after when you got off the stage? And I know you said messages have been coming in, but just in general, how has it been?
It's been great. It's been an outpouring of love and people who've been supporting me, who were so excited that I was on television in my hometown. I grew up in Plainview, Texas, and a lot of exciting things happen to me in my life, but I don't get to share them with my family because they're live events. And so when I get to do something on TV that's appropriate for families to watch, and it's on Fox for Christmas, this was just a really cool moment for me, and my family has just been really stoked. And all my friends from high school, and they have kids now who are obsessed with the bull, and it's just a really, really cool moment.
Do you think the bull will have like some special place in your heart? Like people are going to start sending you like bull plushies for Christmas and it's going to carry on?
Positive that my fans on my tour next year are going to be bringing me bull things.
I mean, it's sweet and it's a cute character. I love him behind you.
It's so cute.
Do you get to keep that, or is that a temporary, just little?
So I'm the only person who's ever been on The Masked Singer in any of the countries who's been able to keep their costume. I collect tons of costumes from every Broadway show that I've ever been in to Broadway musicals that I've never even seen live. And also I own Kristen Chenoweth and Adina Menzel's original Wicked costumes. So I'm a big costume collector, and I was very, very adamant pretty much every day that I was on set about how badly I wanted the costume. And thankfully they made an exception for me and allowed me to take him home with me.
That's amazing.
Thank you, Fox. Thank you, Masked Singer.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So I know that you have been dropping some new music recently, but you've been doing that while juggling the season. So how has that been?
It's been insane. I'm just always in the studio or in a dance rehearsal. I'm already starting rehearsals for my tour because I just want this to be the best tour that I've ever done. So we've been in rehearsals. In fact, when I get done with my interview with you, I'm going to go back to the studio and keep dancing for the day. So it's going to be, it's a hectic juggling act. And, it was always my dream to be a part of the Ringling Brothers family. So I guess in some way or another, I got what I wanted. Be careful what you wish for.
This has been amazing to talk to you. Is there anything else that you want to speak about before we close it up.
No, just thank you so much to everybody who supported the Bull. Thank you for your kind words. It means so much to me. I've enjoyed this experience so much. I would recommend anybody who's in the industry do it. It's just so fun to not take yourself so seriously and to be on a show where you get to dress up and fall in love with this character. I truly have such a special place in my heart. Nothing has made me happier. There's no Christmas gift I could have gotten that would have been better than owning this Bull costume. So maybe I'll find a way to display it on my tour. If people are out there watching, I'm going on a world tour. The tickets are on sale at todrickhall.com. Please come out and check out Finn Millen. It's going to be awesome. Hope I get to meet you, and happy holidays to everyone.
Perfect. Thank you so much. This has been so great to speak with you.
Like this video? Follow us for more.